Shams tweeting that we are going to see Josh Richardson going the other way.
Well, if you're Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley, Mickey Arison, the owner, you got to be ecstatic. You're getting a really good two-way player, a great player, all-star guy in Jimmy Butler. Now, obviously, Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley, they got to add some pieces to this to make this a contending team. But when you start talking about culture, and Jimmy Butler is one of those guys, from all I've been hearing, he wants to be in a place that plays hard, where the players has a certain culture of playing hard, doing things the right way, and he's going to the right place in Miami, because we all know Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, there's a certain way they do things in Miami. And so for Jimmy Butler, for him, and he's going to be the number one guy. And it seems like Wes and Casey and Coach, he's been looking for a place since Chicago that he could be the alpha male, that he's the clear-cut number one. Going to Miami, he's that guy.
Yeah, remember this, a little bit of irony, but don't think it's an accident. His guy of all guys is D. Wade with the Marquette tie and their relationship, and now Wade County, the torch to Butler yet again, not just with the school, but now with the franchise. What about the Heat and Butler in that match here, Czar?
I'm kind of curious how this whole thing is going to work out. What Sam said is exactly what Miami is all about. Pat Riley has laid the groundwork years back on how to win a championship, how we build a program, all these words that we use nowadays like culture. Okay, that's where it all started with Pat Riley. And Pat Riley laid the groundwork in New York, okay, for what he thought was going to be a longer run until the Miami situation developed. When he got to Miami, he developed them into a championship franchise. Remember, he went away to the front office and then came back to get him another championship. So he understands what it takes. Eric Spoelstra grew up in coaching under Pat Riley. And then when it was his turn, he won a championship there. So that's what you're looking for. And I'm sure Dwayne Wade has told him everything he needs to hear about what this place is all about. How can you go wrong?
If anyone's ever seen the movie Good Will Hunting, when Matt Damon first goes to the chalkboard and I'm sitting here and I'm listening to everything you're saying. This is like this is like 7th grade calculus times like a million. So take us through what all of this that I'm trying to understand means as you're calculating what this means for Miami.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out on the fly here how this is going to be pulled off technically by Miami. So when you acquire a player in a sign and trade, going back into the kind of 2011 CBA, they put in what was called the hard cap, right? And it was $4 million. Now it's about $6.5 million above the tax line. So when this is all said and done, Miami's going to be hard capped at about $139 million, just south of that, $138.9 million. They're not going to be able to go above that after they bring in Jimmy Butler, but they have about $136 million in salary right now. And so when you add the $32 million for Jimmy Butler coming in, we get to $168 million. They only got $10 million going out. Now we're at $158. So how do we get that $20 million gap is the question. And so that's why there's going to be another move here. Maybe it's Dragic's $19 million. Maybe it's Hassan Whiteside at $27 million. And, you know, the big number here for the Miami Heat is Ryan Anderson's $21 million contract. Only 15.6 is guaranteed. So maybe they waive and stretch that to get that off the books here to gain, $10 million of relief. But Miami has some work to do, I should say, to pull off this sign and trade. So we're going to see money moving around.
Well, so let me just say, is this too crazy or out of the realm of could Butler wind up being moved somewhere else?
He is. Well, I just jump in with two things. One, the Knicks are loading up with 4s, so Ryan Anderson, maybe give him a call. But Butler is staying in Miami. Al Horford to Philly.
Yeah. And this was
Al
the rumor.
Horford to Philly. After Kawhi signs there, they will not have much money left. The Knicks have money left, and they're giving it to as many power forwards as they want. We get a chance welcome in a guy who has spent plenty of time in his career, probably too much, talking about that team. And as much as Sean Powell joined us, I got to Sean, and I know we're going to talk about all the importance in the West, but just because you've dealt with this for so many years, like I have been from that area, every time you think it can't get worse or happen again, it kind of does. Where does this rank in all the Knicksy things you've seen before? What's happened to them here in free agency?
Well, I don't think we have that much time on air. What time we go off at midnight and 1 a.m.? It would take that long. But look, I mean, this franchise has basically been snake bit, and I'm not going to say it's all because of bad luck. They've made bad decisions, and and it's come back to haunt them. And the one thing that I'm finding out about free agents is they really care about who's the owner, who's in charge, and your track record. And I think that's where the Knicks were hurt. They weren't in the best of shape. Their drafts haven't panned out. Their trades haven't panned out. And now they're once again stuck in rebuilding. And free agents want to stay far away from that.
Sean, from what you hear on Kawhi, because now we know that there will be a duo together of stars, but it will be in Brooklyn with KD and with Kyrie, does that lower the possibility of Clippers and make it really more about Lakers or Raptors? Does he need to have that second star for the Clippers to be an attractive spot for him?
I think it would be a great situation if he did. I don't necessarily think he needs to have it. He didn't really need to have it in Toronto. But obviously, when you get a taste of winning a championship, you want to keep winning. And, I know last year he won in Toronto. He didn't really have that big second star. But in today's NBA, you're going to need that shotgun rider. And, as far as the Clippers are concerned, they do have enough money to sign the secondary star. Maybe a Jimmy Butler. I'm not so sure if they'll take Jimmy Butler and not Kawhi. But I know they'll take Kawhi and Jimmy Butler in that order. But again, Kawhi's walking into a situation with the Clippers where he has the supporting cast. That's not a problem. I mean, he's got Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, Danilo Gallinari, if Gallo's not traded to open up more cap room. He's got some good young guards in Landry Shamet and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So he's walking into a Toronto-like situation. But of course, you walk across the street, and there's the Lakers. They've got LeBron James. They've got Anthony Davis. If they add Kawhi Leonard, they're pretty much ready-made to win a championship now. I'm not so sure he would definitely be in that situation if he joined the Clippers without added help.
We know that it has already been reported that, and we know Kawhi obviously has love for Toronto, the city, the organization, clearly, that he will give them the respect and maybe it goes somewhere, meet with them, Sean, at the end, right? They'll be the last team. Now, in other sports, you might, like in baseball, be able to kind of then offer even more money. You can't really do that here. So does that mean anything, or do we read too much into the fact that he says he'll meet with them last?
Well, you really can't figure out Kawhi Leonard because he keeps things pretty close to the vest, and basically all his inner circle's the same way. But when he was traded to Toronto, that wasn't his first choice. It's not like, oh my God, this is the place I always wanted to be. No, it wasn't the place where he always wanted to be. Now, did Toronto sort of, warm up to him? I'm sure it did. You win a championship in that town, you saw the crowd, you saw the reaction, you saw when he went to a Toronto Blue Jays game and the reception he got. But the difference with Toronto is this. He'll know what team he's going to go to next year. But what about next summer? You've got Marc Gasol's contract expiring. You've got Kyle Lowry's contract expiring. Same thing with Serge Ibaka. What are you going to have 2 years from now? If you go to the Lakers and you go to the Clippers, you have a pretty good idea what your team is going to look like for the next 2 or 3 years. You're not so sure if you stick with Toronto.
Well, we know the last 2 years what it's looked like in Houston. Close but no cigar, and then all the did this happen, did that not happen? Andy Cohen and Bravo, I'm sure, trying to put something together now as we speak, Sean. But is there any way, shape, or form that you see the exact same group coming back? Even if Jimmy Butler doesn't come, do you think that there's a shakeup of some sort with this Rockets roster before we get into the beginning of the season?
It's hard to tell because I really don't know what to make about the chemistry issues. Look, if you look, they've had a discussion with their coach this summer. They've had a discussion with their superstar. They had one with their next star. I don't really know where they are right now. When they couldn't get past the Warriors for a couple years, I think that really hurt them. It wounded them. And the other thing is, what can they do at this point? If you look around the NBA now, players are signing. They're gone. They're disappearing from the landscape. They're not going to wait on Houston, and you wonder how much longer they're going to wait on the Clippers and the Lakers. So right now, it's kind of unsettled with them right now. I'm not so sure what direction they're going into.
Well, it won't be that of Jimmy Butler, who has chosen Prime 112 over CP3. Rumors, reports from Woj now, the finalizing of a sign and trade for the Sixers to send Butler down to take his talents to South Beach. Appreciate your talent, Sean. Thank you so much. Sean Powell joining us. So Jimmy Butler on his way to Miami in a sign-in trade. So obviously there will be contracts, maybe even a third team West, and a lot of money. So start adding all of that up. Let me get to the floor. Is Whiteside, isn't Whiteside? It's kind of disjointed at times, Sam. But what about Butler on the floor with Miami now, as you see Shams tweeting that we are going to see Josh Richardson going the other way?
Well, if you're Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley, Mickey Arison, the owner, you got to be ecstatic. You're getting a really good two-way player, a great player, all-star guy in Jimmy Butler. Now, obviously, Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley, they got to add some pieces to this to make this a contending team. But when you start talking about culture, and Jimmy Butler is one of those guys, from all I've been hearing, he wants to be in a place that plays hard, where the players has a certain culture of playing hard, doing things the right way. And he's going to the right place in Miami, because we all know Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, there's a certain way they do things in Miami. And so for Jimmy Butler, for him, and he's going to be the number one